time.
Well, folks, we are here for the Dugout Crew Podcast, episode 17. We are back. Well, I am back. And we're all back after the All Star break. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, Eric, how are you doing here this afternoon?
I'm doing pretty good, and I know baseball's back and everything else. And the AJ show is here. AJ show, how you doing, Godfather Dom, as
Uh,
usual? And yeah,
yes.
good to have some baseball back. And Red Sox are just stumbling out of the gate a little bit in the second half, but
Yeah.
we're doing very well. So
Hello there, AJ. Dom. DH is he is a YouTuber that does play-by-play games mostly for his
yeah, I think I
Florida
follow him on
teams.
Discord. So great to have him here, and welcome to the live
Yes.
chat, AJ show. This is the first time I think we have some live chatters in quite a while. So ever
Yeah,
since
that's good.
starting this podcast, it's just the two of us,
Don't
gents.
forget
We
to
usually
like.
have more panelists on, but
Yeah, Joey Acacia will be here in just a few minutes. He told me.
oh, okay.
And um, for Chester, he's at a doctor's appointment, so he may be here in the next hour. Um, so basically, don't forget for those who are just tuning in for the first time, don't forget to hit that button. Being a live chat with us for the remainder stream, and we're live here Thursdays, now at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We had to arrange the schedule a bit, but that is fine by me. Let's get to the news here right now. Starting with the injuries. We do the news here, and then after that, we go to the reports of our respective teams. What's your take on the Rays and Orioles series starting tonight? That's going to be an interesting series there, AJ, because those are two
Oh boy.
teams that are neck and neck in the AL East, and it's going to be a battle.
Well, technically, the Orioles, if you check the standings, the Orioles are in first place by percentage points. And
Yes,
I'll tell you one thing: the AL East is flip flopped. Because usually it's usually the Red Sox and Yankees battling it out for the top spot. The Toronto Blue Jays always in the middle, and Rays and Orioles at the bottom. This year, you're talking about a change. Talking about a very
yes,
humongous change here, and it's. I'll tell you one thing right now: Rays and Orioles, man, you got to give them props. And the Orioles picked up
yeah,
a Japanese pitcher from the Oakland Athletics in a trade for a minor league
yep,
pitcher. So hopefully that person will be contributing to the Orioles and see what happens.
yeah, absolutely. Um, let's get started with the entry news. Cubs has placed Dansby Swanson on a 10-day IL with the left
Dansby
heel
Swanson, that
concussion.
guy was Dansby
Yeah.
Swanson, dude.
Uh, for the Guardians, St. Bieber will be on the 15-day IL with the form issue will continue to be elevated week by week. Rays right-handed pitcher Drew Rasmussen expected to undergo surgery that will end this his 2023 season after out with the flexor strain since mid-May. Braves placed reliever H.A. Minter on a 50-day IL. Orioles Cedric Mullins placed to the 10-day IL with right adductor groin strain. And Charles Donaldson reportedly be out for uncertain amount of time after intentionally being replaced on a 10-day IL yesterday with the left calf strain, but until further testing has now revealed a quote unquote serious injury, labeling the calf injury as a full on tear. And there's Joey.
And there's Joey.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Joey.
Well, the stress finally got to me.
What are you talking
He,
about?
It's 90. It's been 97 and humid over in Boston. I'm sure it's in the 70s, and you get a nice cool breeze every day.
Actually,
that's the one.
technically, it's mid 80s here in Massachusetts. I got my
Yep,
AC cranked up, so
I know,
that's what
but
I'm here.
80s to you guys is like 100 here, so big difference.
Yeah, and I'm here at the porch, so because of how goddamn warm my room can be with the heat. So it could be a good thing and a bad thing in New England. Anything can happen with the weather.
mm.
Um, we just went over the injuries. Now we go to the accomplishments. 300 career home runs for Manny Machado. Cubs won a game versus the Yankees at Yankee Stadium for the first time ever in Cubs history.
Really,
Uh,
I never. Oh wow,
yep,
I don't think that's right.
that's what they
Because
said.
really, that's even during the World Series. I know they lost. They got swept in 1932 in that World Series, but wow, that's almost
Yeah,
100 years. That's the world's longest 0-4 right there.
yeah, you're talking
yeah,
about that's a big streak.
yep.
Oh,
Uh, Tigers had a combined no hitter versus the Blue Jays since we last talked.
amazing.
Combined no
Would that
no.
offense the Blue
Yeah.
Jays have? Keep
And speaking of the Blue Jays, Vlad Guerrero Jr. has won the 2023 Home Run Derby.
Not surprised there.
Props to
I
him.
think him and his father. I think they're the first father-son duo to do that.
Yes.
Yes, big bad Vlad and son. When he played for the
Yep.
Angels, oh God, he was
I will
hitting
never.
balls in the dirt. He, I forgot he played for Texas and Baltimore too, right at the end of his career. And
I
he's a
remember about
well-deserved
Baltimore.
Hall of Famer as well.
I remember about Baltimore. Um,
I will
and
never forget Guerrero Senior when he hit that grand slam off Mike Timlin. I thought the Red Sox are screwed in that series, but then we end up coming back to win it thanks to
wow.
hmm.
Only only two DHs started three straight All Star games as the DH. Otani and David Ortiz. How about that?
Hmm.
And the National League has finally won the MLB All Star game with Diaz winning the MVP with thanks to his home run. And that is the first All Star game MVP in Rockies history. And the National League has won the All Star game for the first time since 2012.
Well, I don't know if you guys echo this sentiment, but I want them to bring back, the old jersey where it said the name across the chest for each team. The
Yes,
name on the back,
thank you.
the name on the back is the
Mhm.
same, but where Colorado, Boston, Houston, Oakland, all those. They haven't done that in years, and I know it's because of New Era's contract with
Hmm.
MLB, but seriously though, those
Yeah.
uniforms, I'm not trying to diss anybody, but they were ugly. Like
Mhm.
they're making gaudy uniforms, like the City Connect uniforms. Some of those are nice, but
Yeah.
call me old fashioned, but let them represent their own team.
I agree. Thank you.
Hmm.
I wish MLB could do that starting for next year, but the contract, like
And
I
Manfred
wish.
is a killjoy, anyways.
Well,
So
you
there
know
you
how.
go.
Yep. If
Well,
that if I
the
was
young
the
generation. We don't want the old stuff.
Let the kids play.
if I was the MLB commissioner, I will change that in a heartbeat. Get rid of that contract. Just demolish it. Well, that was that will be one of the first things I'll do for the All Star game. Um, Here are the transactions slash co-op. This is last talk. Marlins cut Uri Perez up to the minor league. Royals DFA'd MER Garrett for assignment after re-selecting right-handed pitcher Mike Yaporo from the IL. Reds promoting prospect Kristen at Martin stand.
Yeah, and they showed because when Edwin Encarnacion played for the I think it was the Blue Jays and then the Reds, they showed his jersey like like a rainbow, where it was across it from the left part of his back up the shoulders and down to the left part of the back. So it looked like a rainbow. He would have had the longest name in MLB history, even with the hyphen.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they just made him shorten it to Encarnacion, and I'm like, why? And it's just like, why? Why can't he have the rainbow like Encarnacion before him?
Weird. The Padres DFA'd Odor for assignment. Option catcher Oscanola to AAA.
Let's see. He's been with the Yankees, he's been with the Orioles, and now he's been with the Padres since he left Texas. Him and Gary Sanchez have both been with the multiple teams over the last couple seasons, and kind of makes you wonder that the free swinger is not going to last as long anymore in the major leagues. That's why guys like Mark Reynolds and Chris Davis both retired because they knew they couldn't do it anymore. But guys like David Ortiz, he was still walking over 80 times a season, despite the fact that he was a big guy and he wasn't getting on base as much. He was still bringing in runners and everything, but as soon as you start striking out more times, and most recent example is Javier Baez, that's when you have to start thinking about where does the fine line come in for three true outcome players.
I agree. Another in I don't know why I put it there, but anyway, a trade just happened of yesterday. Orioles acquiring can you pronounce his name, Joey? I'm sorry.
Shintaro Fujinami, the guy that the A's signed before the season, the guy who was in the same draft class as Ohtani. What parallels they had. Ohtani and Fujinami could both throw over 100 miles an hour, have great breaking stuff. But this is the kicker. They didn't pay attention to this. And this is the issue. If a pitcher coming over from the Nippon Baseball League, the NPB, hasn't been known to throw a lot of innings, you put him in the bullpen. Matsuzaka, when he pitched for the Red Sox, he was a starter and consistently a starter his entire time in Japan. Fujinami? No. Fujinami, I watched that first start he had, and I felt really bad for the guy. He gave up 11 runs. They kept throwing. The A's lost that game, but I had to watch, and his mom was there. That sucks, man. They put him out there as a starter, and he got nailed after having such a good start. Right now, he's 5-8, ERA over 9, but you take away those starts he had during the season, just to start with, he's a decent pitcher. You don't just throw guys out there if they haven't pitched like long relief. And I know Eric knows what I'm talking about. Hideki Okajima. Okajima never was a starter. Okajima came out of the bullpen, and he was a bullpen arm. You don't throw guys who haven't pitched more than 4 innings into the rotation. That's why guys like Daniel Bard, when they tried to make him a starter, he fell apart. Because when you try and take guys who haven't pitched long periods of time and put them in the rotation, generally it starts here, because it makes you think of Chris Sale too, because Chris Sale was a bullpen arm first, and then he became a starter. It's that transition that puts more stress on, especially on a left-handed arm. Fujinami is a right-handed pitcher, though, so that's why more pitchers are having Tommy John surgery, because you're taking pitchers who are used to throwing maybe 15, 20 pitches and throwing them in the rotation and saying, hey, you could do this, right? because they haven't their arms don't have the stamina. It puts too much stress on that. But the Fujinami trade is Fujinami had so many starts and then so many because he was an opener briefly for the A's, but they got a guy named Easton Lucas, who I believe is a left-handed pitcher. He's a younger pitcher than Fujinami is, and he's had success in Double-A Bowie and Triple-A Norfolk now for the Orioles. So he's with the Aviators right now. I believe he's 26. So it was a 1-1 deal.
And look what happened to Nick Pivetta. He was a starter at the beginning of the season, can't throw a couple of innings, but then he starts to fall apart. That's why the Red Sox moved him to the bullpen.
Before you even say anything, I talked to Eric about this first, and Eric laughed because Eric got a big old kick out of it. It was when Pivetta came in on Monday night, pitched 5 2/3 out of the freaking bullpen, and turns into Randy Johnson. He strikes out 13, and I'm over here like,
Yes.
I'm losing my mind because he's just throwing strike after strike after strike after strike. I was wondering when he was going to get tired. Never did. He never got tired. 13 strikeouts against a team that doesn't strike out as much as the Twins did the other night. I can't believe that. To which I say, screw the opener. Pivetta is a starter. Pivetta is a starter, and he should be seen as such.
I hate openers too. I just absolutely hate them because it should be a rotation of 5 stars, but no, they just have to make rooms for an opener.
Well, that's the thing. Sergio Romo, it's been 5 years since the opener started. Sergio Romo was used because Sergio Romo had that devastating slider, he had the devastating cutter, and he had a fastball between 80 and 85 miles an hour. You would think that's a bad move. It wasn't a bad move to start with, but then they started throwing guys like Ryan Stanek, Ryan Yarborough, Gianni Torinos, and that was all because of the Rays.
Oh, well, yeah,
the Rays did that because it was Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash started that whole thing, and now look what it's done to baseball. Openers work for some teams like Boston or Tampa Bay, as it was. They won't work for a team like Oakland, who's had Hogan Harris come in as a bulk guy, Waldachuk coming in as a bulk guy. You got all these guys coming in as bulk pitchers because they're pitching what a normal starter would after the opener throws an inning. I think it was smart baseball at one point, but now not so much. Because you got these guys who are supposed to only throw 1 inning, but then you put out the bulk guy who's supposed to be a starter, and then they get hammered. So that makes the manager look stupid.
Yep. It's completely ridiculous nowadays. Just get rid of the opener all in general, all thanks to the Rays. But anyway, let's go to the other MLB news. Mookie Betts is on pace to have 46 home runs this season. We'll see if he can do that.
I remember them saying Acuna was on pace for a 40-40 season, which we haven't seen since Alfonso Soriano in 2006. And that was his only season.
Steals.
That was his only season. Not his only season, but in 2003, he had 39 home runs and 40 stolen bases for the Yankees. So, no. 2003 was Vladimir Guerrero. Because people forget, Vladimir Guerrero used to be able to steal bases. He used to be very, very fast, but thankfully his son's not the same fleet of foot. I can only imagine how pitchers would deal with that. You have this tank running from first to second base, and then he slides in feet first, and then he hits a home run 450 feet. I can't imagine dealing with that every day.
Yep. Tony Clark has said the players want to make adjustments to the pitch clock for the postseason to take a few extra seconds to take a deep breath.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yep, same here. The Yankees have hired head coach Son Casey, and they're still in last place. I don't know what to say. But I'm actually shocked that the Yankees are in last place because I thought the Red Sox would never get out of last place for the season. But then again, what the Red Sox do is take one steps forward, two steps back. That's what they do. $500 club team. Um, Here is the 2024 baseball international schedule. March 9th to the 10th, the Rays play the Red Sox in Cinto de Mangio for a exhibition series in March. That's going to be interesting.
Was that the Mexican in Mexico?
Um, Santo Domingo. I
Santo
believe that's
Domingo.
Santo Domingo.
Santo
I believe. Yeah,
Santo Domingo. Boy,
So that means they're playing in Puerto Rico.
that's huge.
And they have
Yep.
that nice, very nice stadium in Puerto Rico. That was the one that the Expos played at in 2003 and 2004. Because they play in Puerto Rico and then they play in Montreal.
that's going to be a very interesting series to watch.
Well,
And a fun one
culture.
like that.
The culture there.
Yes.
Mhm.
Puerto Rico especially, they love their baseball. That's where a majority of those players come from.
Yes.
Yeah.
March 20th to 2000. March 20th to March 21st, the Dodgers and Padres opened their series in Seal.
What the heck? All right. Something's going on
That
here.
is,
David, you're
Sewell.
frozen. Oh, no, you're not.
I'm frozen. No.
Oh, they're going to
I don't know what
North
is going
Korea.
on. StreamYard is doing something stupid.
So let me see here.
I can't hear
Yeah.
Joseph.
You can't hear me?
Now,
Well,
we can hear you, but something's going on here.
Hello?
What is
No, I had to
StreamYard
fix.
up to?
I had to fix my.
testing. So we can
But,
hear me, right?
David said Seoul, so that's North Korea,
Seoul.
which is
Yep.
bizarre because
So
they played in Cuba before, they played Mexico before, Puerto Rico. I think North Korea, because North Korea they had that big wrestling event back in the 90s with Flair and all those guys with WCW. But
yeah,
I don't think playing baseball in North Korea is a good idea because you already know our relationship with them is rocky. So
Oof. April 27th to the
Oh,
28th.
yeah.
The Rockies played the Astros in Mexico City. That's another Mexico series.
So
And June 8th to the 9th, the Mets played the Phillies in London for another London series.
yeah, and there's going to be another home run derby there. That ballpark they have in London, it's a launching pad. They always have high scoring games, and I think that's why certain teams like going to that London stadium is because your batting averages can go up.
And
actually,
correction
on the Korea series.
Yes.
Here's the thing: the Korea series, South Korea, not North Korea.
Okay. That's a little better, I guess.
North Korea,
Still dangerous.
I guess. Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Musiat, says, and I quote, "We're going to trade people." I mean, they're in they're in fourth place right now, so that division, anything can happen. Really, same with the American League Central. According to MLB sources, the Blue Jays are one of the teams they have expressed strong interest of may be having some strongman sweepstakes by the last week of July. A reunion could possibly happen with that. Per Jason Stark, speaking of the home run derby, the Legends they plan to have a Legends home run derby, and some players have some interest in these four Legends. If I can Oh, I thought I saved the picture. Let me go on. Let me go on MLB Network. I mean MLB on Fox and get the Legends Home Run Derby. Um. Okay, there we go. The four players have already expressed interest in the Legends Home Run Derby idea for the All-Star break. Is Ken Griffey Sr., Albert Pujols, Taylor Ortiz, and Jim Thome. So those four
Wow,
legends.
that's a cool. That's a good. That's a good way. Ken Griffey Jr.
Yep.
That's sweet, sweet swing.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ken Griffey Jr. can do. If I say go for it. Ken
A
Griffey Jr.
And
Legends
he
David
won
home
the
run
home
Ortiz.
run.
derby.
That'd be a heck of a match.
Yeah, and he won the home run derby
having
back
Ken
in
Griffey Jr. and David
1999.
Ortiz going up against each other.
We're going to be spoiled with home runs. That's for damn sure. You got two of the best left-handed hitters. Thome, too. Oh.
Thome, that's
Mhm.
who is he? Get Thome Griffey Ortiz and Pujols is the only right-handed hitter. So I'll
That
tell you
gives
what,
him
we
a
need some more
strict
righties.
advantage.
Somebody call Canseco.
No, don't call Canseco. Don't call Canseco. He'll bring the needles.
Ballpark.
Oh my god! And the last news. The last news here is MLB.
No,
MLB Commissioner.
I mean, Sosa's paler than I am now. That's how, have you seen him recently? His skin is so light.
No, I didn't. He's trying for Michael Jackson. Jeepers.
No, if you see a comparison of what he looked like years ago and now, he looks like a really bad. He looked like he has a really bad tan now.
Ouch.
I know, all those home runs.
The last news here is MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred expected to be re-elected to vote next week. Screw that. Let's go to since we have time here, I think it'll be fun to do a little segment with the three of us here. We are gonna go division by division and and pick a team other than your favorite team to follow from each division. So we are going to do that here, going division by division as I will share screen this. And we're going to talk about what team we could follow for each division. So let me note this up here. So we have the AL East, the Orioles, Rays, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees. I'm going to go one by one here. With me and Eric being Red Sox fans, if the Red Sox were a team to not follow, which is the rule here, I would have done the Orioles because other than the Yankees, which we all hate, other than the Yankees, the Orioles are closer and they have the best farm system in baseball right now. And I personally will pick the Orioles because they're in first place, which is shocking, and they have a great future ahead of them. So I'm going to go with Eric here. If you had to pick a team other than the Red Sox, what would you pick here for the AL East?
Oh, it's a tough one. A tough one. I'm going to have to go. Tampa Bay has been on a roll, but even though they're second place by percentage points, they're technically tied for first. And if you see the division, they're both like time for first, but percentage points ahead. You're talking about the Orioles, and the Orioles went like I mentioned earlier on, and AJ show been asking what about the Rays and Orioles. This division has been flip flopped because usually earlier back in the day, we used to see the Red Sox and Yankees kind of battle it out for first, second place. You had Blue Jays kind of neutral in the middle, and you had Orioles and Rays at the bottom. This is a reverse fortune. The Rays are a threat to win the East. The Rays are still a threat to win the East. But I'll tell you one thing: if the Orioles and Rays falter and the Blue Jays start faltering, I wouldn't. the Red Sox will probably start climbing the ladder right now. It kind of shocks me that the Yankees are in last place, but I can understand because their offense has been taking a hit without Josh Donaldson, now without Aaron Judge. Well, Aaron Judge is trying to get back into,
Yeah.
and the Red Sox, the timing could not be because Trevor Story is supposed to start his rehab in Double-A, Portland. And once we get him back up, it's going to be very interesting who do we need to get rid of. A lot of people don't like Kiki Hernandez starting at shortstop. He feels more comfortable in the outfield. And then you got Jaron Duran, playing center field as well. So,
if you had to pick one other than the Red Sox, what would it be?
I'm going to go to Rays. I'm going to go to Tampa Bay. They've been
Okay.
like I said, they've been hot. They've been kind of hot. So, even though right now percentage points behind the Orioles, Tampa Bay still got a chance.
All right. And I said the Orioles earlier. Joey, if you had to pick a team to follow for the AL East, what would it be?
Well, I'm split between the Orioles and the Rays because the Rays, you remember they got up to 13-0 starts. Since then, they are just 47 and 39. They're only 8 games over 500 since they had that 13-0 start to the season. And they were, 13-0 at home too, right?
Mm-hmm.
13-0 at home. They've gone 22 and 15 at home since then. The Rays have a very good team overall, but look at their last 10 games. They barely have a better record in their last 10 than the Yankees. I give this much to the Orioles. They've got Mountcastle, they've got Gunnar Henderson, they've got they've got Grayson Rodriguez. They've got a very solid core right now that they've been prepping for many seasons. And I was talking to David about this yesterday when I was taking someone to the doctor. The Orioles had from 2012 to 2016 on average 80 or more wins. And then after that 2017 to the pandemic season, they lost because the pandemic season they only played 60 games. They lost 80 or more games from 2017 to 2020. They didn't have a winning record in that time frame. But then slowly but surely 2021, 2022, 2023, they've slowly built themselves back up. They beat the Dodgers yesterday. But they lost to the Dodgers 2 out of 3 because the Dodgers are still, despite their record, a better team. The Orioles will have to hold off the Rays because percentage points is what separates the Orioles and the Rays right now. It's going to be a dogfight, but I'm going to take the Orioles because the Orioles have a better manager who won't take pitchers out after only 6 innings in a World Series game if they make it that far.
Yes.
But the Orioles have that solid core, and then they have more prospects on their way up. Like, they're spoiled with their riches right now in the prospect system like the Pirates are. That's why the Orioles are going to win this division. Do not quote me on that. But the Orioles have been playing much better baseball recently, while the Rays have been sputtering like an old car. So, yeah, no. Orioles over the Rays.
Okay.
All right. Now for the AL Central.
God. You're making us pick between this hot mess?
Yes.
Look,
division by division, like I said.
The Tigers are somehow 6 games back at 9 under 500. You remember what we were just looking at, right? The AL East? The Red Sox and the Yankees, with their records right now, would be leading the AL Central, and that's sad to think about. A Red Sox or a Yankees team would be leading a Central, and with the Twins only have 50 victories, and they're only 3 over 500. And they're under 500 away. Not a single one of those teams has a winning record on the road. 2 of those teams has a winning record at home, and that's the Guardians. They played terrible on the road. The Guardians have been a mess. The Tigers have been a mess. The White Sox don't even get me started because they were at one point considered to win the division. Right now, the Twins, this is their division to lose. And I'm saying that very frankly. It's their division to lose because they have Correa. They swept the A's, but they look like garbage doing it because they barely beat the A's in that series. It took Johan Duran, that big, tall right-hander, 6'6", 260 pounds, throwing 105. His splitter is 100 miles an hour. He's their closer for a reason. But
Yeah.
The Twins, they have all that talent. Rocco Baldelli is a good manager, not a great manager, and the Twins haven't won a series in the playoffs in 20 years. You want to know the last time they won a series? They won a series against the A's in 2003. No, 2002. 2002, they won a series against the A's. 2003, they faced the Yankees. 2004, they faced the Yankees. They lose. 06, they face the A's, and they get swept. So, yeah, no, the Twins have not won a playoff series. They have not had a playoff win in 20 years. So, unless the Twins want to be known as the teens, the T's, because they can't win playoff series.
For me personally, I'm going to pick the Guardians because I just feel like, they're better. But then again, who the heck knows? Joey, who will you pick here? Is it the Guardians?
The Guardians, they have a better chance. I'm not saying that to be intentionally biased, but the Guardians have been a better team as of late, despite the 5-5 record. I give them that much because they have so many injuries right now to their pitching staff. They beat the A's when they were up there. Then again, everybody beats the A's. So that's a really old joke that my dad told me. It's just like, oh, I'll go live with I don't want to live with my parents. No, now that I think about it, I shouldn't make that joke. I shouldn't make that joke. But it was a joke about the Falcons. They said, I'll go live with the Falcons. They can't beat anybody.
Nice.
So the Guardians is the pick for you.
Well, unless the Twins and the Guardians just collapse and then the Tigers come out of nowhere from third place, I have to go with Cleveland because Minnesota is up 3 games right now, and we're in July. Months ago, the Twins were a much better team. But then again, when we go to the AL West, that's going to be even worse because both the top 2 teams in that division, they're going to be either fighting for the division or fighting for the wild card right now because the Twins, that AL Central is going to screw up the wild card for everybody else because if you think about it this way, the Red Sox and the Yankees have better records than the Twins, and they're not going to make the postseason this year. It's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, Eric, what about you?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I've been hearing after you guys talking. Gotta go with Minnesota right now, barring injuries.
Okay.
Because like the Guardian, like Joey said, the Guardians are having problems with injuries and all that. So until a miracle happens, I'll go with the Twins. Oh, good Lord.
All right. The AL West. Now, this is where, I don't know, this was a tough one for me a little bit because you have the Rangers who, spent a lot of money, but of course the is out, but they are still a dominant offensive team. And now they're 55-39. Look at the, now the Astros, I don't want to pick them because they won that one World Series last year. And, screw them. The Angels, they have Mike Trout and Ohtani. I almost picked them because of that. But the thing is, though, they've been, losing like, typical Angels as of late. Especially when they lost to the Astros this past weekend. So, I'm going to have to, scratch that until further notice because they're, the trade timeline is coming up and we don't know what's going to happen. We have the Mariners who have a talented team, but they are struggling right now under 500 and 10.0 games back, which is a little bit shocking. But then again, who knows what they're going to do at the trade line as well to see if they can actually get a wild card. And for the A's, I can't do it because, sorry, Troy, but
no, it's damn near. I know it's damn near impossible. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The A's lost 8 in a row, and then after Monday night, because me and Eric had a nice conversation about this. After Pivetta dominated the A's, I'm thinking, oh, God, Boston's going to come through with the brooms once again. No. Three runs on Tuesday. And then yesterday they come through with that was a wild game because the A's had 4 errors yesterday. 2 on pickoffs.
Yes, he did.
Langoliers throws one into center field in the first inning. Jace Peterson, a routine ground ball, throws it past our number 3 prospect number 1 prospect into foul territory. That's the one thing I see wrong with the Coliseum right now is if Eric is playing first base, he's sweating bullets because he turns around, he goes out there before the game and he says, uh-oh, because all he sees is that green grass, manicured and everything else, but all that's out there is green grass in that foul territory and the bullpen. If you throw a ball away in Oakland, you're getting at least a triple out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, other than that, Jesse's not here. Rangers. The Rangers will win their first division since 2017. No, 2016, because 2016 was when they went to the playoffs and they lost to Toronto, I believe.
I said the same thing myself with the Rangers. But however, let me check the Rangers schedule to see if they're playing the Astros anytime soon, because if that's coming up, that can make a huge difference because they're 4.5 games back with each other.
Well, the A's are playing Houston tonight for a 3-game series. And I mean, if the A's have beaten Boston in a series now, which is a bit of an accomplishment because the Red Sox are still very dangerous and they beat the Braves. They beat the White Sox. They've won a couple series. They swept Milwaukee, which still makes me laugh because that was part of that 7-game winning streak they had in June. The A's are currently 2 games ahead of behind the Royals in the loss column, as you see there. 28 and 69, 27 and 71. Do I care if the A's get a first overall pick? No, because the first overall pick is going to play in the minors while the A's are in Vegas. But the A's are doing better than the Pythagorean record for once, so there's that. Yeah, no, it's let's see, it's JP. Oh God.
What?
Oh God, it's a 4-game series. Oh boy. Versus the Astros. I went to an Astros game against the A's this year, and it was like I'm not saying it was like heaven, David, but and I'm glad Jesse's not here because I feel bad for the guy, but I've never heard a symphony of boos so loud. It was like some bees were going around.
Just imagine if that Bioclaw game back in 2013 happened to be the Astros. Just imagine, because there will be boos galore, loud in the stadium, almost halfway sold out back in 2013. Imagine instead of the Rays, the Astros. Just imagine that.
Eric, you okay there, buddy?
Oh yeah.
He's tired.
I was gonna say, don't do it. Don't do it on here because they're gonna say, "Well, he got bored to death." I'm sorry. David, since it's an appropriate time now, can I show off what I got?
Oh yes, we're pretty much done with the.
Oh I'm picking the Rangers for that one because the Rangers, we got
So we're all set on the Rangers now because the Rangers they haven't been this good in 10 years almost. In 7 years they haven't been this good.
Acquiring Evaldi really did help. So
100%.
That Evaldi has just been consistent. And I don't think he's ever won a Cy Young, but he's been overly consistent. He was consistent for the Yankees, for the Rays, for the Red Sox, and now for the Rangers. He is a consistent arm of the bullpen. He's what everybody thought Porcello was going to be before he went to the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. Let's see. What's today? Today's the 20th.
Mhm.
About 3 weeks ago, I went to a baseball game. My friend plays for the A's, like I said before.
Mhm.
He wanted to see me at the game. He left me tickets. And
Really?
these tickets, I wanted to ask him, what are these tickets going to be? Because I was so thankful that he left them for me. I was being and he's such a humble and kind person. He's giving me the shirt off his back. I was 17 rows back of the A's dugout that night.
Wow.
And I have a picture. David saw it.
Yeah.
It's a picture. Fujinami's on the mound. In the background, you see the Oakland sunset right between the scoreboard and Mount Davis. And all you see, because it was a beautiful pink sky. But I got a baseball. I brought a baseball with me that night.
Uh-huh.
And I got it signed. But there was a foul ball hit in towards the A's dugout. So I'm going to show you that first. This is that baseball.
Nice.
They don't tell you that ball is going fast off the bat and getting hit hard. Look at that.
Wow.
That is how hard that when they say exit velocity, they mean exit velocity. That ball was hit on the label of the baseball.
All smudged up too. Wow.
Yeah. But I got this as well.
Nice.
You got a sign.
Yeah.
You got a sign. To Joey.
Nice.
And wow.
Yeah, no. The A's beat the White Sox that night. I think it was June 30th. So
You brought him
yeah, I
up.
know he's one of the nicest people I've ever met. I have a picture of him and I back when I was in high school. Same. I have the same A's hat and everything. The hat's like 10 years old. That hat that I have is like it's 10 going on 11 years old, and I can't believe that I still have that. But yeah, no, I can't talk bad about the guy. Yes, he's struggling on the mound right now, but that's the only bad thing I really have to say. He's determined. He's very motivated.
Yeah.
This is why, David, I tell you, keep track of the good ones, because you keep track of the good ones and you treat them well, they'll treat you well.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, who are you going to meet today, Mr. St. Dennis?
It's actually next Thursday.
Ah, boo! I was looking forward to see another one of those pictures because it looks like he's with a bunch of his uncles. It's just like, I know, but most of these guys are so old. They're older players.
Yeah.
Every time I see, I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, Eric, while we wait for Joey, you can do your Red Sox report now if you want.
Okay.
For Joey.
All right. As you know, coming off the All-Star break, the Red Sox played against the Cubs and took 2 or 3 against the Cubs. The Red Sox beat the Cubs 8-3 in the first game. The 14th and the 5th and July 15th, the Cubs beat the Red Sox. 10-4, and the Red Sox beat the Cubs 11-5. Which I think one of the games Yoshida hit a grand slam, and that's his first ever grand slam in the major leagues, and which is really, really cool to see that. Like I said before, the All-Star break, Red Sox did sweep Oakland in Fenway, and that was when I was at the Whalen City Festival at the time. But I always check on the games, and then Oakland got a little bit of revenge on the Red Sox, like Joey mentioned, 2 or 3 against them. Like the Monday's game, this past Monday, you're talking about 13 strikeouts for Pivetta. Then then tomorrow, weekend series against the Mets at Fenway, 2-game series at. So we have a 5-game homestand, 3 against the Mets, 2 against the Braves, and to end July, we got the end of the month of July, Red Sox, Giants at San Francisco, and then we got a 6-game West Coast trip. And then ending July into August, we got the Mariners, and then we're coming back. Red Sox are coming back home on a 6-game homestand against the Blue Jays, 3 against the Royals, 7 game homestand against probably a long homestand. 3 against the Blue Jays, 4 against the Royals, and 3 against the Tigers to end July, start in August. So this is going to be hopefully the Red Sox can pick up some games there and some wins, and we'll start winning series again. And the miracle part about that whole thing is with the Cubs in Oakland, you're talking about 2 or 3 for each. You're talking. Let's see, 6. All right, so since Red Sox 1-2, 3-3 on the road trip, and the miracle part about it is other teams have been Yankees been knocked to last place, the Red Sox up in 4th place, which is amazing. I mean, I'm like, boy, I didn't expect. This is the first time they've been out of last place since I forget, since the beginning of the season, basically. So. And then you get Trevor Story trying to mount a comeback. He's starting rehab in Double-A Portland. So I am looking forward to see. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when Trevor Story does come back to the lineup. Who are they going to oust? Because the Kiki Hernandez defensively, not well at shortstop.
Suck.
Yeah, and Yu Chang's not that bad either, but. Like I said, we need another bat in the lineup, and and what's going to happen in the trading deadline? Who the Red Sox are going to get? And we don't know where Ohtani's going to end up too. There was in the beginning, like if Ohtani wasn't signed with the Red Sox, he likes the Red Sox history, everything behind it. He wanted to sign them in the off season, but we got to remember now, Ohtani. If I don't think the Red Sox will get him, I mean, even though how much I'd like to, but. Like I said, whoever gets Ohtani is going to have him just for a 2-month rental, basically. And if he wants to go to a playoff,
Angels.
I don't think they'll part with him either. If the Angels are smart, they could keep him on, because I think with Trout hurt too, they're going to need Ohtani. The Angels do.
Yes,
but
well, even then.
But for the Red Sox, they're going to have a long ways to go. I mean, if the Red Sox can knock off the Blue Jays a little bit, it could move them up a little bit in the divisions and put them in contention for a wild card spot. It depends on what happens to the Rays and Orioles at that point. So, So, like I said, the Red Sox got a long way to go. I'm hoping they do it, but see what happens. So that's my Red Sox report.
All right, Joey. Back to you were saying before you had to go for a moment, and then do your report.
But that baseball means a lot to me, and I'm gonna get a little case for it and everything. Okay, go ahead, Eric. But yeah, no, I'm gonna get a little case for that baseball, and I'm gonna put it up on my shelf like I have it up there, right up there. But the A's did lose 8 in a row. They've won 2 straight though, and then they faced the Astros for 4 in a row. Esteury Ruiz is supposed to come back, but in bad news, the A's wasted another signing because Drew Risaniski is going to be out for the season. Yaxel Ruiz is going to be out for the season. They picked him off waivers. He has he had to have shoulder surgery. Risaniski, I think, had to have back surgery, so the A's are losing 2 players. But in the last couple games, they've been playing better baseball. I don't think Seth Brown is going to be around much longer because now he's in his age 30 season. And since he's come back, he's hit a little bit better, but 9 home runs, 26 RBIs, but a 193 average with 57 strikeouts is not ideal, I guess. But Cody Thomas, Zach Geloff, and Tyler Soderstrom, they've each gotten off to a bit of a slow start since being called back up. Cody Thomas homered for the first time yesterday in his career. Geloff, he ended up getting 4 hits in his first 19 at-bats, but he struck out 7 times. Cody Thomas has struck out 6 times, and Soderstrom, he's just 3 for his first 17. And When did Pena? Manny Pena's back
What?
on the IL. Jesus Christ! They signed these guys. They signed him to a 2-year. He's on his last year of a 2-year deal, which he signed with the Braves. He's played exactly, and he missed a majority of the season. He played 4 games and went 3 for 12. Now he's hurt again. They didn't even say how he got hurt. Because the dude, he re-injured his wrist. Jesus Christ, man. The A's, they're not a bad team. It's just the fact that they have players that keep getting hurt. Because you want to know who their best pitcher is right now? Let me go back. J.P. Sears is one of their best pitchers, despite having a 2-6 record, I believe. I think he's 2-6. But the best player they have is J.P. Sears, and he doesn't have a winning record on the mound. And then Noda, who I told you to keep track of, he's got 60 walks versus 116 strikeouts. He's leading the team in on base. He's got the second most doubles on the team. He's got the second most home runs, second most RBIs, and he's got the third most hits. So yeah, no. Ryan Noda he's got the best OPS plus on the team. He's the A's best hitter right now, and he's hitting .229. So I guess this is where I say the A's have problems, and a lot of them. Majority of them was bullpen, but they're not last in a major. They're hitting .221 as a team, which is up from where it was, but they're second in the league in stolen bases, 12th in home runs, 15. They've got 15 triples, which is in the top 5. This team is only bad because of their pitching. Because when they traded Fujinami is 5-8 right now, ERA of 8.57. Since his rough outings and everything, yes, he's a bad pitcher. His fielding independent pitching, if he has no fielders out there, his ERA would be under 5. Yes, he gives up a lot of hits, but that's because most of them are hard hit balls. Their best pitcher right now is 1-6 with an ERA under 4, and that's only because he's given up 21 home runs in 106 innings. But he leads the team in strikeouts. He's allowed just 85 hits, so he's consistently been one of their better pitchers. Luis Medina has come back around and started being better. Paul Blackburn, who came off the IL, he hasn't given up as many home runs, but he's given up 53 hits in 42 2/3 innings. But yeah, no, the A's have had a lot of injuries. Mason Miller's on the IL. Lovelady, who hurt his arm after throwing a pitch a couple weeks ago, 15-day IL. Jackson's going to be coming back soon. Jimenez is out for the year. Rusiniski's out for the year. Miller probably hasn't had surgery yet. Carlos Perez on the IL. Rios is out for the season. And then they had Freddie Tarnock come up, but they've released Chad Smith's been released, Acevedo, Garcia, Acton, Patton, and Zach Neal. All those pitchers that they had have been released. Adam Oller, who was pitching in the starting rotation at the start of the year, he was in the minors. Now he's in Seattle. He hasn't pitched for the A's since early May, I believe. Yeah, May 3rd was his last appearance as an A, and he got shelled. Now he went from Las Vegas to be DFA'd. Now he's with the Mariners. Is he better with the Mariners AAA system? Oh, I'm sure. But the A's have plenty of good players out there. It's just the fact that the ownership has pretty much given them this notion that you have to be so bad so we can make you move. The A's have had losing streaks of 11, 10, and 8 in the last few months. That contributes to 29 losses total just in streaks. They've won as many as 7, and I want to see something really quick because I always they keep getting compared to the 2003 Detroit Tigers. So this is 99 games into the season now. The Detroit Tigers went 43-119 in 2003. And that was when Dave Dombrowski was the GM. I think you guys know who that is.
Yep.
Sox teams together to win a World Series in 2013, I believe.
Yes,
and
he
then Went
was.
to Philly, and then went to Philly, and they won the pennant.
That's right. There too. Oh, Jesus. Not that. Shut up, FanDuel. Shut up. Stupid things.
FanDuel.
But
Yeah.
looking at the Detroit Tigers of 2003, their best hitter was the meat hook, Dimitri Young, who had 29 home runs. They had a guy who stole 40 bases, too, named Alex Sanchez. Ruiz is supposed to come back soon, but their best player was worth 3.4 WAR, and that was a hitter. Best hitter after that, 1.7, and then their best pitcher only had 1.5 WAR. So, but the A's, this is where I get technical with this stuff, especially that. You want to know how many A's pitchers have lost 10 games right now? Just in general, how many pitchers on the A's have 10 losses? 0. Not one of them has double-digit losses on the season. The only one who was close was Fujinami. For the Tigers that season, they had 4, all of them starters. Cornejo went 6-17. Maroth went 9-21, leading the league in losses. Jeremy Bonderman, ex-A's prospect, 6-19. Adam Bornero was one of their starters. He went 1-12 as a starter in 17 starts. And then Gary Knotts went 3-8. He was one of their better pitchers. But still, the A's are not the worst, not as bad as they seem. It's just that the talent is there, but the pitching has not been there for rotation-wise. Because I can only imagine how good this team would be if their pitching was solid as it used to be. But, let's see, game log. Let me look at their schedule and results.
Okay.
So, longest losing streak. The A's have already tied that with 11. Most runs allowed. The A's have already passed that. They gave up 15 again. They gave up more than that against the Mets a couple months ago. But the farthest the Tigers were behind was 49 games. The A's aren't even 49 games behind right now. They're 31 and a half. So they're nowhere near as bad as the Tigers are right now.
Sir.
And at home, the Tigers were actually better than they were on the road. But let's see. Game 99. The Tigers were 26-73. The A's are 28-71. So I give them that much. Because let's see. They played game 99 on July 23rd, which was a Wednesday. They lost to Cleveland 4-1 in front of 21,000 fans at the at Jacobs Field, it used to be called. But right now, it's July 20th. And on July 20th, the A's, they didn't have that record. They had 26. They were 26-7. They had the identical record on. They have a better record on July 20th this year than the Tigers did. They're 28-71. So right now, the A's are better than the Tigers were at that point. Do I think the Astros are going to beat them up a bit? Possibly. The Astros are very beatable, though, because they don't have Brantley, they don't have Yordan Alvarez, and they don't have Altuve, but they have Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is a big problem for the A's because he's hit a lot of home runs against them. And George Springer, thankfully, isn't there anymore because George Springer was another one. And Jeremy Pena, who won Rookie of the Year, isn't even close to where he once was. So this Houston Astros team is only in there because of their pitching. Framber Valdez is supposed to start some games this week for them. But tonight's game is going to be at 6:40, and hopefully the A's will reach 30 victories by the end of this week. If they don't, I would be surprised. Because Houston is a good team, but the A's have been hot and cold this season. So I think they win at least – everyone said they wouldn't win 40 games. So if they hit 30, that's going to turn some heads. And it's sad that I have to say that of all things.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll win one game in this series coming up. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, Joey, you'll be here next week, right?
I got the go ahead, so I will be here on the 27th.
All right, so next week we will go over the National League's divisions to pick a team to follow for each of that. So, and honestly, Joey, I think it's time. Well, actually, I would say to you, I think you should be part of the Oakland A's host on the Oakland A's broadcast team, but unfortunately, they moved to Vegas, so now you can't do that.
You need to actually go to school for that, David.
So I
Everyone-
talk with all the scouts. I talk with a certain scout, and they said, and I'm trying to do my Tim Kirkchin. Remember Tim Kirkchin? That guy. And so I talked to this certain scout. I talked to his mother, and he'll probably hit 30 in one season, and then he'll hit 40 in the other season. So I'm in a Blue Jay camp here, and I got Menard here. That's like
Oh my god, that's great because that's actually how Kirchin is.
Yeah, you know what the funny part is that it all started with JP Arancibia. When he did it, I'm like, holy cow, he sounds like it. He's like, what am I, 12? Oh man.
I was trying to say, I thought you did go to college for some TV stuff.
I did go to college, just not for broadcasting. Because when I wanted to go to college for broadcasting, the only broadcasting academy anywhere in the United States is closer to where you are, David. You and Eric both.
Oh.
It's over in New York. It was in Trenton, I believe.
Okay.
No, it was Syracuse. Syracuse, excuse me.
Trenton, that's in New Jersey, is it not?
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. That's where the Yankees single A team plays, the Trenton Thunder.
Yeah, Trenton Thunder. I remember that team.
So it looks like you have to go to New Jersey then to get broadcast experience.
Well, if they're willing to let Booger McFarland be a broadcaster, that's all you need to know.
Booger McFarland, that's one name.
Yeah, that's the old defensive tackle. His son is Anthony McFarland Jr. He's playing football as well. But I don't know how you get the nickname Booger.
Probably picks his nose a lot. I don't know. I talked to the scouts on how he got that name. I just don't know.
All right, that's going to be it for this episode of the Dugout Crew podcast. Feel free to check out the Bryce. There's so much is coming up, but I want to thank everybody for watching.
So Tim Kirchin is to baseball as Jordan Little is to wrestling.
I guess. Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye.